What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it is time to talk about Dragon Ball Super Episode 67. This is going to be a fun episode to talk about because a lot happened in this episode, so I'm just going to organize this review into three portions. We're going to talk about the Zamasu part, the Whis explaining stuff, and the wrap-up. So, starting off with the Zamasu portion. This is the only part of the episode I really have any gripes with, and they're mostly subjective. First off, I would have liked that the fight ended in the last episode with Trunks splitting him in half, so that you could have spent this entire episode on wrap-up. That way, you could have brought things to a better closure without doing things as fast-paced as they did. It wasn't, like, awful pacing or anything, but it was fast-paced, it was a touch rushed, and I feel like you could have spent the entire episode on wrap-up instead of, you know, doing the Zamasu twist and focusing on, like, maybe, like, the first third to first half of the episode on that. You know, it's not awful or anything. Again, the pacing isn't the worst, but that would have been a little bit better in my opinion. But the Zamasu thing did happen, and I'm cool with that because it's a decent twist. He's immortal, so his essence and existence is still going on, even without a physical form. That's fine. And, well, it's not fine for the characters. He starts wrecking everything, and they do this badass Final Flash, Gallic Gun, Kamehameha, Super Mega Ultra Beam, fucking Hyper Edition Turbo, and it doesn't do anything, but it's still really cool. And then he destroys everything, everyone dies, except for the main characters because they have a barrier, and Mai just unloads, man. Like, Mai, I love this because, I hate to say I love it, because it's such a sucky scene for Mai as a character, but at the same time it's a good scene for her, though, because it really shows how much she cared about these people, and how much she's been fighting for them, and to have them all die, she just unloads her emotion and just starts firing at the sky, and it can't do anything, but that's what makes it such a powerful scene, is she doesn't care. She's just done, she's distraught, she's stressed out, she's not having a good day, to say the very least. And I joke, but it is a really good, really powerful scene for the character, and that plus the fusion beam thing that they did, really great way to open the episode, honestly, and the Zamasu twist, I'm cool with it, you know, and then they call in Zeno, and Zeno's like, yeah, this universe sucks, let's nuke it, and Goku's like, oh fuck, get to the time machine, there's no reasoning with him, get to the time machine now, and they get the fuck out of Dodge. And he destroys the universe. Not the timeline. I do not know why people think he destroyed the timeline itself. Goku and Trunks go back to get him and bring him to the other Zeno, so how? How did he destroy the timeline? I don't know why people think that. He only destroyed the universe in that timeline, but they take him out, they bring him to the past Zeno, and I guess that's a good segue into the middle portion of the episode. But to wrap up my thoughts on the first portion, it didn't need to happen. It could have wrapped up with Trunks cutting him in half and killing him. However, it did happen, and I thought it was good. The Mai scene was powerful. The fusion energy beam thing that they did was really, really fucking badass. I like the idea of Zamasu still existing in this form. We've never seen that in Dragon Ball. My only gripe is how he fucking looked. I did not like the way they depicted him in the sky. I thought that looked really cheap. Really out of place. It took me out of it a few times. It was very, very weird, very, very off-putting. That is one criticism I have at the beginning of the episode. It doesn't destroy it. I still have a lot of positives to say, as you guys heard. But, yeah, that wasn't a huge fan of how it looked. That was, like, when he had, like, his whole face on the planet and everything, no. That did not do it for me at all. Did not like that. But everything else about it was really, really good. Again, I would have preferred that it not even happen and he was just dead, so the wrap-up could have been better, but it did happen, and it was pretty good, especially with Mai and the fusion beam and all that. So, moving on to the middle portion of the episode. This is where we have Whis. He's with Goku, and they're chilling at fucking, well, they're not really chilling, but they're at the fucking Omni King's place, and he brings future Omni King. He's like, here's the friend you can hang out with, and it's himself, and pretty good idea by Goku, and no one seems to care. Whis doesn't care. Whis' dad doesn't care. That was a cool bomb drop for the overall story. And, yeah, Goku came through with his promise, so that was really good. They wrapped up that subplot. And then moving on to Whis talking about the time travel stuff. Essentially, that he says, what you're going to do is you're going to time travel back to a point before the Goku Black shit happened. There'll be duplicates of you, but if you're cool with that, you'll go back to that point. Everyone will be alive. And then they ask, well, what the fuck? Wouldn't he just do everything again and it'll all happen all over again? Technically speaking, Trunks could fucking murder Black before he becomes Super Saiyan Rose and everything, but Whis says, don't worry, I'll go, tell the future Beerus before he gets killed bet this motherfucker is gonna cause some shit, so go kill him preemptively. And we assume that everything works out nicely, so that's pretty much what happens. And it's essentially the same thing happened in the original series. Trunks went back in time to warn everybody about the androids, and that's what happened. So what Whis did is pretty much what Trunks did back then. So all of that makes sense. The duplicates thing threw me off for a second, but I don't know why, because it's like, no shit, duh, when Trunks goes back in time, you see Kid Trunks, so of course if they go back, there's going to be duplicates of them. So yeah, that was fine. It just threw me off when Whis first said it for some reason, but yeah, all that stuff, pretty good. It's good wrap-up. You know, they're using time travel to fix everything, which some people could say is kind of anticlimactic, but it makes sense, and I like that it's still a bittersweet ending. Like, they're not just fixing everything and calling it a happy ending and wrapping it up with a neat little bow. I like that it is bittersweet. I like that, yeah, they will go back and see everybody in a different timeline, but their timeline is dead. As Trunks said at the end of the episode, he could not protect the future, and it hits him really hard, and he starts to cry, and yeah, that really, really worked. And I guess that's a good segue into the final part of the episode, which is the send-off. The send-off was fucking great. Vegeta showing that Saiyan love and the smile they gave each other, that was fantastic. Gohan looking like he's been training with that hair and sweating, that was really cool. And he tells Trunks, you know, be well, and Trunks starts crying and he sees future Gohan, and that was a great ending. I'm not saying I cried or I teared up or anything, I didn't even get misty-eyed, but it hit me, it was emotional, it had weight. It's actually a really good episode. It's a weird episode. The Zamasu shit is crazy and fucking looks really dumb, but it's actually a really good episode. There's lots of really emotional highs in this episode and emotional lows, and it wraps things up pretty nicely. Again, don't want to repeat myself too much, but I would have preferred a full wrap-up episode and had the fight end in the last episode, but this is the reality, and for what it is, it was actually good. I don't love it, you know, again, would have preferred it to be a little different, but it was okay. It was a good ending to the arc. The emotional moments had the weight they needed, and I liked it. So, what did you guys think? Oh yeah, rating. Let's give it like an 8 out of 10. It's a good to very good episode of Dragon Ball Super. I liked it. There's massive story progression with the arc wrapping up and Zamasu being killed by the Omni King, and we got wrap up for that Omni King friend subplot thing going on. So, really good wrap up there, and the art and animation were not the greatest in this episode, I'll be honest. It was a Katano-supervised episode, so that's why, but not awful either. The beams look pretty good in the beginning, and overall, I liked it from an animation standpoint. I didn't love it. It had its issues. There was some shaky art, but I liked it overall. I didn't have too much to complain about. It wasn't episode 5. It wasn't episode 24, so not too bad. Nothing too stand out about the sound design in this episode either. But overall, I liked the episode. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I think it's a really good episode, objectively speaking, and a good way to end the arc in a very bittersweet, unique for Dragon Ball kind of way. So, with all that being said, once again, an 8 out of 10, and I will talk to you guys later. So, tell me what you guys thought of this episode in the comments section below. Follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. And also give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, or if you like what you see in here. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.